This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
I'm Kevin Thompson. I'm Chubray from Return of the Jedi. You're listening to the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerf herder.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
You've taken your first step into a larger world.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT. This episode of the podcast is turning into a goddamn episode of Nova. AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
The vacuum of space does crazy things to your beehole out there, man.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we discuss the many possibilities presented by Kevin Feige's addition to the Star Wars universe.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And go visit shop.nerfherdercouncil.com for your customizable Nerf Herder Council swag. So I'm slightly under the weather this week, so let's hope that it doesn't sound too crappy, but you know, I have a cough and a mild head cold. A couple days before my damn anniversary weekend in Columbus. What a bummer.
I got rained on getting here, so I was under the weather too.
We're starting off doing that, are we?
That's all I got. Continue.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll.
So the theme of dad jokes this episode is over already?
Yeah, I guess so.
So there was couple pieces of news that came out that we wanted to talk about. I figure the shorter one we'll talk about first. Something that you did not know, neither of you knew, but apparently Star Wars has confirmed their first openly gay couple on screen. So we know there's been like gay people in the books and stuff like that, or gay characters or couples or whatever in the novels and stuff that are in canon, but apparently they have confirmed that on screen we have seen their first openly gay couple.
Oh, we've already seen it.
Yes, we have.
Interesting.
Yes, and the reason I bring this up, I personally don't care. It's like whatever. All right, it's fine. To me, it's a very interesting place to have it. It seems like the very last place you would have it, but it's Orca and Flix from Resistance, the little dudes in the garage.
Wow. I'm
like, okay, that's a kid's show. Why would you? That seems like kind of an odd place to put it.
And they're alien characters, so it's hard to relate to them and go like, oh, yeah, they are gay.
Yeah.
I mean, what, are they going to kiss on screen or something? What makes them gay?
I don't know. I that's why, like I said, I don't care, but I thought it was a very interesting choice. And then a whole bunch of people were leading into going, discussions of, oh, I hope they make Poe and Finn gay. It's like, okay. And honestly, to me, that would make more sense because Resistance is geared towards kids. I mean, it just kind of seems like.
Well, they're really going all in. This is an interspecies homosexual couple.
Yes. I just, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I think it's kind of a chintzy way out. Like they're being inclusive, but not really like going whole hog.
Yeah, because they're not human characters.
Well, that and it's in a kids cartoon.
They're not doing it in the movies.
Yeah, exactly. Because could you imagine if like you get to episode 9 and like Finn and Poe end up kissing and stuff like that? I mean, people talking about the SJW stuff in The Last Jedi. Can you imagine what the hell would happen if that went down in episode 9. So, well, we're gonna have a gay couple on screen, but let's make the little mechanic guys in the kids cartoon.
I really like those characters though. They're hilarious.
They're cool. Yeah.
Like it's in episode 9. It's super subtle, like just it totally out of context, and then Finn just like goes, "Hey, Poe, nice ass, bro."
Yeah, right.
Like what?
In one of the monologues, you can barely see one of their hands on the other one's ass just sitting
Right.
there. You don't even notice it because it's only on screen for like 2 inches. But like, hey, wait a minute, he was holding his ass the whole time. What? Oh, I get it now.
They hide it. Like Finn makes Poe look at his hand doing the little
The circle game.
It's better than saying like Rose was tying one back the whole time.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Yeah. That'll be the next step, but that'll be in like the one with the shorts on YouTube.
So yeah, in,
Like the 3-minute shorts.
in a very horrible way that I can't explain it. I understand what you're saying, that it's like they wanted to do it to include everybody, but they just kind of like shoehorned it into the thing that not too many people are really watching. So
Well,
they'll
right.
just-
At least the target audience, there's not a bunch of 10-year-olds out there going, "Oh, sweet, there's a gay couple."
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
pretty much this is just going to be them saying they're gay, and they're never going to acknowledge it or do anything
Yep.
gay on camera. It's a cartoon, but you know
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah. No, I agree. I thought that was strange when I first saw it. I was like, wow, that's it's bold, but not really. I guess.
I mean, it's
So-
a good middle ground though, because this whole thing of like, oh well, you're gay, so you have to do gay stuff. No, they're just normal people who happen to be attracted to the same gender. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
seeing
Thank
gay people
you.
be completely normal is actually a very good message. to
Thank
send.
you. Because of
We,
course,
we do a lot of sports analogies here. It's literally the check down. it's the high percentage, like we know we're going to get 3 yards out of this play. So let's just do this.
right? Yeah, I mean, no, I completely agree with you, AJ. It's like, and when I read the article, of course, you get all the heads that are, this is the nail in the coffin for Star Wars. I don't need to see gay people in there, and I'm like,
Oh, they're
Yeah.
pushing it onto our children.
yeah, it's like, who cares? Like,
How dare you expose them to the larger world?
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
the narrow-minded thinking is just staggering. It's like, who cares, man? Like, what does it matter? I mean, that's part of the world today. That's going to happen in everything.
There's just
And,
10-year-old kids at home right now that are like, you know what? I didn't like penis at all until I watched Resistance, and now I can't get enough of them, and I don't know why. I think Disney is putting this into my head.
right?
Star Wars corrupting our youth.
I know. Yeah, I didn't understand
They're
it.
just
I'm like,
going to
what-
school the next day. Teacher, don't know why. Woke up this morning, watched Star Wars yesterday. Love penis today. Don't know what's going on here.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, what it's
Can we have a parade during recess?
yeah.
I have the urge to color things rainbow.
Yeah. No, it's like you said, AJ. It's not like they're doing like overtly gay sex acts or something in the middle of a scene or something. It's just two people hanging out. Like who cares?
They probably won't even kiss on screen.
Yeah. I mean, and even if they do, it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, that's the way the world works these days. It's not so who cares? It's just part of how things are.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not ruining Star Wars. I mean, it's come on.
the closest thing they're going to get to acting gay on screen is probably going to be just showing genuine concern for one another when they're in some sort of dire situation. Mm-hmm. But it must be romantic concern, apparently, because they're gay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like in It Chapter 2, where I guess like they made Richie Tozier, Bill Hader's character. I guess he was gay, and he was in love with Eddie, his childhood friend. And I didn't know that or catch that until
I did not pick up on that in the book.
Yeah,
No.
well, it's not from the book. They
Made it
put
up.
Yeah, they made it up for the movie. But I saw the movie. I didn't pick up on it. I just thought they were really good friends. But then I saw an article. It's a couple reviews where people are saying, yeah, they put the gay thing in there. I'm like, gay thing? We're talking about the opening scene and read through it. And like, no, the Richie and Eddie thing. And of course, there's people complaining about that. I'm like, you can't even tell. So why are you complaining about this, man? Like, what is it? Is it that big of a deal?
Well,
I mean-
now that they've told you, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, this is so stupid. But anyways, so I mean, that wasn't the main thing that we wanted to get to tonight, but I just thought that was interesting because,
Well, now I'll be looking for it because this actually comes out the day of the season premiere.
really,
Yeah. Talk about flying under the radar. Like, did you know that Resistance starts this week?
I didn't. I'm sure Steve didn't either, but that's because we didn't really care for the first season, or at least the few episodes we saw. So again, we're not very up on that.
I still blame the Disney app. I really did try to watch, and then they just would not put the damn things up, and I totally lost interest because of it.
Yeah, and for me, the app didn't work. Like I said before, the app didn't work for me. So I just got sick and tired of the damn thing playing for 3 minutes and then having to reboot it, and then fast forward and watch another 30 seconds, and it would freeze, and I got to reboot it. I'm like, enough of this. This is not, it's going to take me like an hour and a half to watch a 22-minute episode of a cartoon. It's not worth my time. So, but yeah, the bigger news that recently came down, which I was absolutely thrilled by, which I can't imagine anybody who isn't, unless you hate the Marvel movies for some reason. But as you corrected me on the pronunciation of his name, Kevin Feige, the guy who's been running that entire huge 23 or whatever, however many movie, we'll call it a saga for the Marvel universe, Captain America and the Avengers and all that stuff.
The Infinity Saga.
Yes, the Infinity Saga. Thank you. That's a good way to put it.
Pretty sure that's what they're naming the whole giant box set that's coming out. So I'm just going to go with that.
Sure.
It's going to cost like $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's actually coming in to do a Star Wars movie, which is awesome. I absolutely love that, because if history has taught us anything, first of all, he is incredible.
Yeah.
And second of all, where Lucasfilm is concerned, just because you're only signed on to do one movie doesn't mean you might not kick so much ass that you're doing multiples, a la Rian Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super excited because I absolutely loved the Marvel stuff. There was only one that I was like, and that was the Hulk.
Yep.
With Edward Norton. And the rest, even the ones I was like, nah, they were still really damn good.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we've talked about it down here before that, like Black Panther and Doctor Strange were probably towards the bottom of my list, but that's because if you're going to do a list, you have to have something towards the bottom. And yeah, Hulk is down there. And then, like you just said, even the ones that you don't like that much are still amazing movies. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with that guy's track record, to put him in front of Star Wars is like unbelievable.
Yeah, that's flies on kind of thing right there, dude.
Yeah, that's I just he pulled off the Marvel universe so well. And my wife and I recently went back and watched everything in order, like and not in release order, but there's a
Timeline order?
Yeah, timeline order. Thank you. We found the picture online and we did that. And when you see it all put together in the order of the actual story, so that, the end credits scenes like lead into the other movie or whatever, the next movie and stuff like that, it is just brilliantly done. Especially when you look at where some of them actually were released. I mean, stuff like Captain Marvel comes out between Infinity War and Endgame, but it happened like back in like 1990
it's like what, the
or
second
something.
movie or something.
Yeah.
Isn't it Captain America, then Captain Marvel, and
Yeah.
And filmed out of order. They were filming Infinity War and Endgame
together. Yeah.
Yeah, they filmed those first
Yep.
before they filmed Captain Marvel. So she appears out of order in filming order.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I am such a big fan of the MCU and, in particular the Captain America movies. And I mean, having Kevin Feige on there brings up a really cool possibility, which is, I got this. I didn't even think about it until someone.
Don't say crossover. Don't say
No,
crossover.
oh, hell no. I want nothing to do with that. But I saw somebody online say, oh, just think about all the cool directors that you could have for a Star Wars movie because you have Kevin Feige. And I completely forgot about this until that popped up on my screen. They could get Joe Johnston. He's the guy who did Captain America, the First Avenger, but he worked on the original trilogy in ILM. He was one of the very first ILM employees.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So he has all the pedigree that we could ever want to do a Star Wars movie. And I'm like, oh, that's my choice right there. Get Joe Johnston to direct the Kevin Feige Star Wars movie.
And while you're talking, I'm just thinking about all the other guys like the Russo brothers and James Gunn and all that. And you're just like, holy.
Joss Whedon.
Oh, God, dude.
Oh, Joss Whedon would kill it.
Yep. Taika Waititi even.
Yep.
I mean,
These movies would be so good.
yeah.
But then you run the risk of having a little bit too much bleed over, right? Like,
Only if it's done improperly.
If you keep bringing in the same people that did the MCU, isn't there a risk that Star Wars is going to start to feel like the MCU?
I would hate for it to feel like the MCU.
It's a separate thing.
And be really good and awesome and not a rehash of episode 4. Oh, sorry. You know.
No, but Star Wars is
that
its
would
own
suck
thing.
if Star Wars would just break every box office record. Stuff like that.
No, I know what you mean, Age. I mean, keep going, but I see where you're going.
I mean, that's the reason the MCU succeeds, actually, is they have this whole like camp of people to work on it. So a Captain America film doesn't feel like a Captain Marvel film, doesn't feel like a Black Panther film, doesn't feel like a Thor film. You know, if you just keep pulling off the rack from your Marvel people, it could feel like Marvel in space.
Do you think they would do that though? That just doesn't sound like something that would happen.
I totally get what you're saying. I just feel like all these guys are so good at what they do that we wouldn't have to worry about that.
That's what I was kind of thinking too.
But yeah, I totally get it. But yeah, I don't think that they would let that happen. I mean, we'll find out with James Gunn doing the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to know right off the bat going from Marvel to DC if there's any kind of weird bleed over that makes you think like, oh yeah, that's a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It's just, DC characters. But if he pulls
simple,
that movie
if it's good, it's going to feel like an MCU movie instead of a DC movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, I won't know if there's bleed over because I won't be seeing the Suicide Squad movie, but
it'll be on Netflix someday.
Even then.
But like, yeah, I guess that would be my holdout. See Suicide Squad, and once you're done with that, go, okay, they're totally capable of pulling this off without making them sound or feel like MCU movies.
So do they say what he's actually going to be doing on this movie?
They haven't yet.
Because I'm not really even clear. Our cousin would know a lot better about this.
Yeah.
What he actually does for the MCU movies. Is he like the Kathleen Kennedy of the MCU, where he just oversees it all, but he doesn't have his hands directly in each film?
Yeah, he is the shaft that is the giant penis of Marvel Studios, dude.
He is. You and references tonight. Good Lord.
I was trying not to say
I don't think it matters.
But yeah, he's the guy.
Don't mark that as a marker. Then people are going to think I said the one that starts with a C. Then that one's bad. The other
you
one
dug
is not.
this hole, man. You lay in it.
But yes, he's the Kathleen Kennedy of Marvel Studios Entertainment. So
yeah, I think he's kind of like Kathleen Kennedy plus like major hand in story group type of thing.
So my follow-up question then is, why do we need Kevin Feige if we already have a story group and a Kathleen Kennedy?
Why not?
Well, what's he going to do if we already have people doing those
Make
jobs
it
for
awesome.
Star Wars?
We've been over this. He's going to make it awesome.
No, there's other rumors that have been circulating for a couple of years that Kathleen Kennedy doesn't intend to stay on in her current role forever.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's
so
a good
maybe
point.
this is like a lead-in sort of a thing.
Boy, that wouldn't suck either. Man, if he could do that, like maybe they are doing it because maybe the Game of Thrones guys and Ryan Johnson, their two trilogies, maybe they're supposed to be interweaving things, and they brought Feige in to be like, hey, we need you to do with Star Wars what you did with the Marvel Universe. I mean,
that's the other thing. This is a seventh movie in the works right now, and we know we're not getting one until 2021. So let's assume even on a 1-year cadence, it's going to be damn near the end of the next decade before the Kevin Feige project actually happens.
But like you said, though, maybe he's working on something sooner.
So, yeah, they're either mixing it in, or by that time, who knows what Kathleen Kennedy's going to want to do. So maybe this is a way of lining up her successor.
Could be. It's just like I'm reading the Hollywood Reporter story on it now, and they're talking about how, honestly, since Disney bought Star Wars, it hasn't been the smoothest process, with everything that happened with Rogue One and all that. And, the movies are all seem to be getting this weird backlash. But on the other hand, Feige has 4 of the top 10 greatest, highest grossing movies in the history of ever, and,
right.
And seems to just hit home run after home run after home run. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is them trying to get Star Wars on a path that is just a straight line. Well,
oh God, can you imagine
going upwards, as opposed to all the bumps in the road that, they seem to be going through since Disney bought them.
Can you imagine if, despite all the billions of dollars that Star Wars has made for Disney, they're still looking at it like, yeah, but it's kind of underperforming because we've got these Marvel movies over here.
They very well could be.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I think the Star Wars movies take chances that the Marvel movies did not. I mean, there wasn't, like L3 from Solo, I mean, is, droids' rights and all that, that ruffles feathers. I mean, in the MCU, they don't have that. It was, hey, we got female characters and we got characters of color. And then it's just good guys versus bad guys. I mean, there's no, as people call it, SJW stuff. We even call it that.
Yep.
There's none of that in the MCU. So there's nothing to really poke at people and kind of divide people along a political, line. So, I mean, and that's a perfect supporting point for what you just mentioned about Kathleen Kennedy maybe wanting to step down, or is if he is there to take over for her, is this kind of something that the company actually has said, hey, we know that Star Wars should be more successful than the MCU, but it's not. It's almost but it is not as successful. And maybe it's you trying to be all current and quote unquote woke. So let's get the guy that made the MCU, this big. Maybe, I mean, that very well could be, AJ. That's a very good thought.
Maybe to keep in trend of my own thing that's going on with the show right now, just to give John a huge boner here. Maybe Feige's just going to take over the Indiana Jones franchise.
There's only going to be one more, sadly. Sadly.
Maybe.
See, you say sadly, but
depends how much money it makes.
Right. Now we're going to get really far afield. Really, is it sad that there's only going to be one more Indiana Jones?
Yeah, Indiana Jones kicks ass.
But Harrison Ford has to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And the guy can't. He can't do it anymore. He's
series?
too old.
That's okay.
So we can't do the animated series. We can't have young Indiana.
Right. You know what? They can digitally de-age people now. They can do the face mapping. So they could just keep doing it with a stunt double and he just does the dialogue.
It's going to be a live action cartoon, basically.
Heck yeah.
I'm just going to mention it because my wife has been watching crazy amounts of Doctor Who lately. Indiana Jones's soul is just going to end up in a new person. So how the doctor is always the same doctor, but it's a different person, but it's the same person, air quotes. Like, that's what they're going to do.
That's number 5. See, they've already tackled God and space. So once you've gone through aliens and higher beings, soul transference is really the only place to go next.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There we go. We just wrote Indiana Jones back into 6 and 7 and 8 and whatever they want to do.
It's fine with me, man. I love Indiana Jones. I love all 4 of them. I don't give a crap what anybody says about the 4th one.
I'm just tired of seeing Harrison Ford's legendary characters die on screen.
Well, now that's true.
I mean, Han Solo bit it. Decker bit it.
What?
No, did he?
I haven't seen that yet. Damn it.
No, wait.
Spoiler alert.
Well, it's only been like 2 years since it came out, so I suppose it's on me to.
Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I got to rewatch that.
I got to rewatch them. I got to rewatch the first one so I can refresh my memory on it. I only saw it one time, twice, but I saw 2 different versions of it. There's like 3 or 4 cuts or whatever. I saw 2 of them, and I don't remember which one is which. So, yeah, no, I mean, like I said, AJ, it's a very good point. Replacing Kathleen Kennedy thing, because I mean, it really does kind of make sense. Like, why would he come in for one movie? Like, what would be? I mean, that's what's announced so far. Maybe they're doing it as like a trial period, and they're not really saying what's going on. They're like, all right, if you make something that totally kicks ass, then you're going to be bumped up to the big chair.
Yeah, the story just says he's going to be developing a Star Wars movie as Kathleen Kennedy makes new plans for a wave of projects set in the universe. So.
Well, it is time for kind of a little bit of a reset, isn't it? We've got the Obi-Wan series starting up. We got the Cassian Andor series starting up.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian's in production. There's got to be something animated coming after Resistance.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 2 trilogies that have already been announced. So that's a lot of stuff to coordinate.
Yeah, and it also goes back to like, what standalone films, are we going to get if they do them again? I mean, what could they do? I mean, what characters are going to be popular enough to? So, I don't know.
Look, Ray Park keeps tweeting about wanting to do Darth Maul again, so maybe make Solo 2 happen is actually a successful movement.
You know what, man?
Wouldn't that be great? Disney Plus should absolutely do that movie.
How could they not? I mean, like we said before, it'll have Darth Maul. You could have Jabba the Hutt. You could have Boba Fett. Who in the hell wouldn't watch that?
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly the sort of thing where Kevin Feige would be great, because he's currently coordinating all of that stuff for Disney Plus already, with all their streaming stuff coming out and all the movies that are still in the works.
Yep. Who knows? Maybe that is what he's doing. Maybe it is like a Solo 2. Maybe it's like chopped into like parts or something. Maybe it's a show. Who knows?
That'd be a cool miniseries. Yeah.
It'd almost be cooler as a miniseries, because then you get more of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could see more stories and more characters and everything like that. And as we discussed before, where that story could go after the first one is so badass. It's just such a bummer that it tanked at the box office because Disney were morons. I will still never understand how you end up screwing up your own movie and then come out and say, oh, well, maybe we misjudged how to do Star Wars, and it didn't do as well as we thought. And you blame this movie when you're the idiot that did it all. You're the one that did the scheduling so far as say, no, we're not doing December. I don't care if it's going to tank in May. We're doing it in May. And then it tanks. Maybe that was a bad idea. You think? I mean, It came out, it was right about within a month of Infinity War. I mean, what genius had that idea?
And it was already the riskiest movie they tried.
Yeah.
Rogue One was even safer than that.
Oof. Maybe that's why Feige's in there, because maybe Kathleen Kennedy was the one that shoehorned it in and said, oh, no, we'll be fine up against Infinity War.
Yeah.
Kathleen, we'd like to have a word with you.
We're all in the same family here.
Mr. Iger would like to see you.
Yeah, Mr. Iger would like to see you with a cardboard box. But, I think, for anybody who's a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think this is excellent news. And I think it's definitely just from a PR standpoint, it's a great move, because people that might have been disenchanted with Star Wars, this kind of is something to throw them a bone, saying, oh, hey, but you love this other stuff, so we're going to have him work on the stuff you used to like. Mm-hmm. So just from a PR standpoint, that's awesome. I mean, it got me. As soon as I saw that headline, I didn't even read the article. I just copied and pasted it and sent it to you guys. It was like, whoop, I know what we're talking about next show.
It almost seems like clickbait, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A headline like that is just like the easiest thing ever to write.
Yeah. It's the thing you want to happen the most. Mm-hmm. And it's happening.
Again, we bring up sports a lot, and it'll be a second time I did it tonight. It's literally in the off season when your team makes a trade for X. Like, your team might be dog crap, but then they make that one trade that somebody comes in and just brings you right back into the mix again.
Yep. No, that's a perfect analogy. It's a perfect analogy. And
then everybody gets excited, spends their money, and then you hope that they stick around after the fact. That's all.
Right. Yeah. But to your point about spending the money, I mean, I wonder if this is one of those things where it's how dependent will the subject matter be? Because are people that are like, for me, I don't care what it is, him being in charge of it, I'm going to go see it because of his track record on other things. But how many people are going to look at it and go, well, the movie's not about something I really kind of care about. So are they going to do that? Or are they going to be like, I trust this guy from his other stuff. I'm going to go no matter what.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
Or did they just throw the low-hanging fruit and give him something original trilogy related and just rake in the cash?
Yeah. I'm with you guys. I wonder when that's going to stop. I mean, all the original trilogy stuff, like when are they going to go back to, they've got it.
As soon as all the virgins quit wetting the bed every time they release something original trilogy and start, going with original ideas again.
I just think that the prequel stuff is so cool. It's I mean, and I know
because it's Disney,
kind of alone
and ultimately they're trying to make money, so they're just like, things weren't working so hot with the original ideas, so let's just do something else, original trilogy, and we'll make a boatload of money off of it, and then we'll think of something later. But just do the easy one now so we can get paid.
Yeah. I mean, they could do Plagueis. I mean, that book is universally well received. It's not canon now, but I mean, everyone calls it Episode 0.
Mhm.
That book was kick ass. I mean, they could totally do that. And, you know, everyone was really into the Clone Wars cartoon.
There's a bunch of like hoopla over that movie, and then it's just like a chair and a fireplace, and it's Morgan Freeman reading the story, and the movie just starts out. Have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? He was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful.
It's just 92 minutes long of him sitting there like, what was that old show that used to be on WVIZ back in the day?
Oh, like Masterpiece Theater?
Yeah, it's just Masterpiece Theater with Morgan Freeman reading the tragedy of Darth Plagueis.
He's got the smoking jacket, holding the book in one hand with the pipe in the other.
And it gets up to like number 8 on the all-time movie list. Star Wars Episode 0 just broke 1 billion in theaters this weekend. Like, what the hell?
There's a bunch of like 70-year-olds that hate Star Wars, but they just go to listen to Morgan Freeman talk for 92 minutes. Like, what was it about? I don't know. I just listened to his voice.
Like, I don't know. I fell asleep 20 minutes in. You can't. Like, the guy's tones, man, it just puts you out.
Yeah.
You can't stay awake.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, like the subject matter. I mean, what I wonder how much that's going to play into, you know, the success of what he does, and you know, I love your point about maybe taking over Kathleen Kennedy, because that just puts a whole different spin on it for me.
Well, if you think about the direction that Star Wars as a franchise is headed, up to now, with the exception of the standalone movies, which are really kind of shelved for the moment, it's always been one story, you know, told in chunks, and that's it. Whereas the MCU has always been like separate stories that can converge and overlap. And it seems to be that's where Star Wars is going. We've got, you know, the Benioff series, and we got the Johnson series, and now this 7th movie, and they've said they're ending the big saga so they can just tell separate stories instead. So maybe that's kind of the plan, is that they'll do like an Avengers kind of crossover event where they'll have these separate storylines running that will eventually culminate in some bigger thing down the road.
What if it's like a side storyline to the Skywalker saga? Like, let's just say, you know, for sake of discussion, Episode 9 happens, and you know the Emperor is back physically, and you're like, what the hell is that? And what if, you know, these other new movies, you know, the Skywalker sagas go along this line, but somewhere else in the galaxy, there's these other things happening that all of a sudden leads into like Episode 9, and it's like,
oh, I love stories like that.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
I'm one of the few people that actually liked the second 300 movie.
I haven't seen either of those.
The events take place in parallel.
Oh yeah, isn't the second one like on the sea or something like that?
Yeah,
it's like happening at the same time. It's just a different perspective.
Yeah, and there's even a couple scenes that cut over and show the same scene from a different perspective. So I love it when you can just like, you know, like in Endgame, where they go back to different moments in the original Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, this is what you would have seen if you were looking at it from this angle. Like, that's so cool. I think
I like that
as
too.
you were explaining that, I was just thinking about, not that I remember exactly what movie it was, but like one of the first 4 or 5 movies that came out from the MCU, the end credit scene was the one where they showed Thanos on the planet.
Yeah.
And then the little thing opened, and he had the gauntlet with none of the stones in it there.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you know, he doesn't actually show up for like 14 more movies, but you knew he was chilling out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like
Just
you were
hanging
saying,
over
you know,
everything.
that the Emperor is there, but then all this other stuff just kind of points towards that happening, and you go, oh, okay, so this is why all this happened. All right.
Or they could do like origin stories in a way, like, here's how, you know, like, I know they have the Aftermath trilogy and stuff like that, but they could be like, okay, well, here's how the First Order became a thing. Here's how the Resistance became a thing. The Emperor's off doing his thing. So it's kind of like enriching the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So that might be.
I still hope they just follow Kenobi's drunken adventures on.
I'm still holding out hope for Star Wars Detours to make air sometime.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Why don't they release that? Now, I mean, I get it. Like, when they first made it and it was supposed to come out, it was like, all of a sudden the Disney thing happened and they wanted people to take Star Wars seriously again or whatever. I get that, but I mean, it's been long enough now. I mean, you're going on 7-8 years, like Star Wars is a thing. Now it's, you can poke fun at it again. There's no reason it shouldn't be. And if nothing else, just put it out digitally.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's perfect streaming service content right there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that'd be awesome if they put that out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they're throwing so much crap on Disney Plus anyways. It's just like, just here's another thing. Just when you click on the little Star Wars icon, you're pleasantly surprised that there's a handful of random things that you may have never seen before.
Right. Speaking of Disney Plus, did you guys sign up for it yet?
Not yet.
Yes, I'm in the gold circle thing. I'm one of the founding circle, whatever the hell it is on it.
Well, look at his snooty ass over there with his nose in the air looking down on us commoners.
I got my 3 years worth of it already.
Wow. Did you get the email? Because I went on the Disney Plus website and signed up for email updates.
I got 3 years for like $140 or something.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic deal.
Yeah. So.
I did a year for $69.99. You get the first 7 days free, and then after that it'll charge you the $70 for the year. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to use it a ton.
Yep.
So I might as well just, save myself some money. And
I'm actually scared to get it because there's too much stuff on there to watch. Like, I don't have nearly the depth of Disney knowledge that you do, Steve, but I love cartoons and animation. So I could get all that back catalog stuff, and the entire run of The Simpsons is on there.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Dude, I think for
They're going over 700 episodes this season. Wow. So yeah, I could just be. You won't see me for like months.
you can. I think
I'll just DoorDash some food in, and
yeah, right. I think for $12.99 a month, it gives you Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Hulu is ad supported. They don't have a version that doesn't have ads.
But still, I mean, for the $13
it's a
to get all three of those.
Yeah, it's a fantastic deal, but I'm a snob, and I would rather pay more than have to watch commercials.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't use Hulu ever, literally. And
Hell,
I don't know
ESPN
what I
ESPN Plus and the Disney Plus for $12.99 would damn near be worth it, honestly.
I would only use the Disney one. Even the ESPN Plus, it's like there's not much on that channel that I would
already
watch.
paying less than Netflix anyway, so it's like you're getting the Hulu and the ESPN Plus for free. So
yeah.
Which I mean, I missed out on that doing the Founders Circle anyways, but I don't really care.
Look, it's cable all over again. We're just a la carting different streaming services and getting all flagship shows as weekly releases again, just like regular TV.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's why I don't.
It's literally the trend it's turning into here.
We're so far off topic, whatever. It's the end of the show.
Yeah.
I actually just signed up for another streaming service today because my internet provider, which is also a cable company, sold me on a streaming service that lets me watch cable at a discounted rate through the internet because I have their internet.
Oh, is it Spectrum?
Yeah. So like I basically just got roped into cable again, but at a lower price.
Make sure you actually get it, because they sold me on a free trial of it for a month. It never started up.
Oh yeah, I've already used it.
Okay, thankfully they never charged me either. But
yeah, I just need to adjust the channels because it's this like super cheap price for only having a subset that you get to pick, and they just gave me like a generic mix, and it's missing a couple things. I really just wanted to watch wrestling. As long as I can get TNT
smart.
and USA, I'm good. Which I'm missing that right now, actually. So if we could wrap this up.
Does it have DVR?
I don't think so, actually.
Well, all right.
You got to pay for that.
Real quick, just one thing that's really irking me right now about Disney Plus is the fact that I really don't know if I should run to the store and buy Far From Home, or should I just wait for a month when I know it's going to be on friggin' Disney Plus. Like, I'm really torn because I want to see the movie, but at the same point, I'm like, I'm just going to get it in 30 days anyways for free. So
I have to buy it, but I buy the home 3D, so if it wasn't on 3D, I wouldn't.
And that's another thing too. It's like I got all the MCU movies, but now my head is going, you're getting them all through Disney Plus, so don't buy them anymore.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm torn because I own all the other ones anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Or is Far From Home the last one that's going on Netflix? Is that deal done? Or I don't know.
I don't know, but I would assume it's just going to be on Disney Plus when it comes out in November.
So to pull it back to Star Wars at least a little bit, what about Resistance? Is Resistance going to be on Disney Plus, or do I have to find a way to stream Disney to get episodes of that show.
Disney already said they're not going to stream homosexual things, so it's not going to be on there.
Yep. See, they wrecked their own service.
I know, right?
There's just going to be black bars like cops.
Every time they show up on the screen, they're not going to be doing anything homosexual, but just because they're on there and have been confirmed homosexual, they're going to like blur
You're going
it
to
out.
think your streaming service
out.
is all effed up and stuff. You're like, dude, it keeps like, blocking up and I lose the picture. Like, no. We're doing that on purpose.
Yeah,
We're blocking out the homosexuality.
That's Flicks and Orca.
Yeah. You got to pay an extra $3 a month if you want that kind of stuff unlocked on it.
Nice callback, man. That's how you wrap up a show. JT, take it away.
And with that, we'll close up shop for this week. Thanks, everyone, for checking out another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for a 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. You can get us where you get all of your fine podcast entertainment. Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, most Android podcast apps, Pocket Casts, Castbox, Spotify, all those good places. Google Podcasts, we are available there as well. You can hit us up on Facebook. Just look up Nerf Herder Council. The email to contact us directly is nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com. We are active on our Twitter page at NHC Podcast. The website is nerfherdercouncil.com. And as usual, do not forget that if you would like to rock some Nerf Herder Council swag, go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. And again, not just shilling for my brother because he's a great graphic design artist, but the shirts are really cool and they're kind of subtle. It's like one of those things, if you like wearing nerd stuff that doesn't look super overly nerdy, it's kick-ass. I have several of our shirts and people are like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's my podcast. Like, really? No, it's cool. So
they wear super well, too. I just was doing laundry today, actually, and the logo of the one that I have has been washed enough. It's starting to wear down a little bit. But it actually just looks cooler. It just looks slightly weathered. It doesn't
vintage,
like fade color. It just,
mine
wears in, not out.
Mine are doing the same thing. So, and my wife really likes her purple and yellow one that she made. So that's pretty cool. So, So once again, I'm your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
He is Steve.
At JSteve1005.
And we will catch you next time.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.